See, look at that deep
There we
sigh.
go. Just very quickly, and then we're live. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 181 of the All Dolphins podcast. This live recap of
The beatdown.
beatdown, disaster, catastrophe, embarrassment, any adjective you can think of. Dolphins come up as I wrote in my headline on alldolphins.com, woefully short. 56-19 was the final score. I don't know that the game was. Yeah, it was pretty much that lopsided. And then to make matters worse, we had the nasty looking injury at the end to Bradley Chubb. I think Tua is going to be fine by the looks of it. Didn't look like he was. I'm not overly concerned about his ability to play against Buffalo next week, but the Bradley Chubb injury did not look good. I could swear I was hearing from my TV screaming, and that would have been him in pain. And then immediately one of his teammates was like this at the sideline. So.
You can find all the coverage on alldolphins.com, which obviously you see where it is right there for free, no paywall, no monthly subscription. Listen, that was an embarrassing performance. It was a reality check that right now, and I'm not saying that Miami is not a contender because I don't think that that's what that performance says. I'm saying that the Baltimore Ravens are peaking at the right time. And they have the MVP of the league who just produced a perfect passer rating on a 5-touchdown performance in a critical game, winner take basically everything. And the Ravens, their execution was just phenomenal. They were hot in all areas of the game and played and performed like that. I can't even say one area of the game sort of short-circuited on the Miami Dolphins. You could blame the 2 touchdown drops. I mean, would it really have made a difference in the game? The Dolphins had success running the ball. The defense, once they lost Xavier Howard, it was Swiss cheese. Not to say that Xavier played well on the very first snap of the game, but goodness gracious. If you don't realize what happens when you don't have 2 elite cornerbacks on the field in this defense, good God Almighty, that was pretty bad.
And this is where I took some crap on social media because I mentioned Eli Apple as somebody who easily could be cut, and I got major pushback. Well, because he's a veteran. Well, what happened on that play with Zay Flowers, where, oops, I'm gonna follow the other guy who's shorter inside along with Duke Riley, and we'll let Zay just run by his lonesome down the road. Now, to me, yeah, there were mistakes to be made offensively. I am flabbergasted by just how poor the defense was. And you mentioned Baltimore was executing at a massively high level. Lamar Jackson was on his game, but dude, the first 2 drives, Tua was on his game too. And then he got badly hurt by Tyreek dropping basically a softball in his hands. He completely flubbed it. And then Baltimore looked like they made some adjustments on defense. Kind of contracted the field a little bit, got tighter in their coverage, and then it wasn't the same offensively. While Baltimore just kept going and going and going. And again, as was the case last year, even though in the grand scheme of things, it was just one play, but just like last year, they gave up a kickoff return for a touchdown on the opening play. This time, second half kickoff, when the Dolphins are already in catch-up mode, is 28-13, boom, 78 yards, sets up another touchdown, and here we go, it's 35-13.
Yeah, that was a total dismantling in every aspect of the game. I think the only thing you can really find some solace in is the fact that you ran the ball relatively well with Devon Achane, 107 yards on 14 carries. I believe he also caught a touchdown pass. I'm sure he also caught a touchdown pass. But I think you were also 6 of 15 on third down conversions, which is kind of respectable. I don't really think you killed yourself from a penalty standpoint, so it wasn't like you were playing an undisciplined game. You gained 375 yards, which in my mind is not insignificant. I think what happened was you just caught a team just absolutely peaking at the right time. I mean, they dismantled the 49ers the previous week, and then here we go. They just got you ran into a buzzsaw. And they just carved you up. The one-handed catches, the touchdown catches, the touchdown throws. Lamar Jackson attacking the right side of the field just effectively. They average 8.9 yards per game, which is absolutely ridiculous. The end of half play, just it was unreal how good they were. I mean, I think that was more. I was a little bit more impressed by that performance than I was by Miami's 70-point burger that they put up on the Denver Broncos. That was good.
I agree because the Dolphins played hard. Dolphins played hard on defense to the end, and of course, this brings up they had 2 unnecessary roughness penalties on one running play with 5 minutes left when the game is
hurting frustration. That's.
That means but it means you care. What Denver showed in the second half of that game, and they were like, "Get us out of here. We don't give a crap. Score however many you want." That wasn't the case. There brings up the question of why in the hell is Bradley Chubb in the game when the score is 49-19? That certainly can. Sorry, you're shaking your head. No, to me, there should not, as much as you can within the limits of the roster. When it's 49-14, with 3 minutes left, get out and they did that on the offensive line, by the way, at the end of on the last drives. No, Teron wasn't on the field. Austin Jackson wasn't on the field. Liam wasn't on the field. You're going to tell me Bradley Chubb's not valuable enough on defense to get him the hell off the field?
All of those guys are injured, though. I mean, all of those guys are injured that you said got pulled from the offensive line.
Again, 49-19, 3 minutes. You're not coming back.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. You're not going to win the game. So you're saying pull every valuable starter.
Yeah, and it becomes a second half of a preseason game. Get him the hell out of the game.
Okay.
I mean, outcome is completely done. And now Bradley Chubb.
I always hate when players are playing at the end of the game and then somebody gets hurt. Oh well, why were they in the game? That's kind of Bradley Chubb was in the game because he wanted to be in the game. Because I mean his effort in that final possession that he played was phenomenal. And
proving my point that
you always think that. What do you say?
Proving my point that the Dolphins didn't quit. They played hard to the end. They just too many big plays given up, too many mistakes.
I would love to see be able to say the secondary play hard to the end because everybody was open for Ravens. Everybody.
Well, time out. Okay, I'm gonna take issue with this. Number one, look at the touchdown pass to Isaiah Likely at the end of the first half. Coverage is not bad. Lamar just put it just slightly in front of Likely where he had to snag it with one hand and tip it to himself because the coverage by Javon Holland actually was pretty good. The long pass to Odell Beckham Jr. down the sideline, caters all over him, except ask me how much I despise this. He never turned around. So it allowed with a great pass and a great catch by Beckham for the completion, where if Cater turns around at any point, it's an easy.
You're talking about first half touchdown. I'm talking about late in the game.
They only had one touchdown pass. Well, the Patrick Ricard is touchdown pass, which was early in the fourth quarter, is one where they sneak in the running back going one way to the other, like Raheem Mostert did against the Cowboys. Yeah. It's confusion. It's an easy touchdown, not because they gave up. No, you're not going to get me to say that the Dolphins gave up. They didn't. They made mistakes on offense with the dropped touchdown pass in the end zone. The Claypool one was tough, and the Dolphins scored on that drive. So I'm not sure how much I'd harp on it. The 2 picks were bad, especially the first one at the end of the half. They snapped the ball with 2:01. They're at their 40-yard line. You're not going to run out of time. What's the hurry? And I'm serious.
I know. You know your head coach.
Well, but it's not. You're not getting 2 possessions out of this. Just score with 3 seconds.
He is getting 2 possessions out of it until he turned it over.
There were 2 minutes left. You're at your 40-yard line.
No, I'm saying he's getting an extra timeout. He's getting a play in. He's super aggressive. You know he is.
But I know. But it was 2. They weren't going to get out of time. And then the cornerback Rocky Yassin is all over Cedric Wilson. Not DPI, by the way. Look at the overhead shot. The contact was after the ball actually was intercepted. But the dude was covered, and Tua tried to. Sorry,
I said agreed.
Tua tried to thread it in there, and it worked. There was one pass in the first half to Tyreek early in the game that was just superb between defenders. That one didn't work out so well, and then the other one he's trying to fit it to Tyreek between 4 defenders, and that didn't work out so well. So
Tip pass though on the one to Tyreek, even though I didn't initially see the tip, but it is
Correct, but the window was so insanely
yeah. But I
small.
mean, he throws through small windows. That's he
Yeah,
he,
not like that, dude.
he doesn't throw through small windows.
Not
Come
like
on.
that. That wasn't a window. That was like basically the window cracked open like this much. It wasn't an open window. It was like this much.
It's what he does. That's who he is as a quarterback.
Well,
I'm surprised.
71.9 is not. If that's who he is as a quarterback, that ain't good enough in a game like this.
Oh, nothing's good enough in a game like this. I would say the only person who pretty much got a passing grade is Devon. Everybody else was kind of subpar. Who else?
Zach Sealer, sack and a forced fumble.
Okay, one play, and let's see what the rushing yards.
Well, okay, but what did Achan do outside of his 45-yard run? If we're going to go by that one play logic,
I mean, he got 107 yards on 14 carries and scored and 30 yards on 4 receptions, including a touchdown.
Okay, but you're poo-pooing, you're pissing on what Sealer did to pump up Achan.
No. I'm not pissing on what Sealer did. I also don't just judge defensive tackles by how many sacks they produce. They also gave up 160 rushing yards.
Agreed.
Which, that might be hell. That might be, let me look, it might be a season high.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, I forgot about the Chargers, the one
Chargers game. No, and there are a couple of guys that you need to come up big who didn't come up big. Christian had a very quiet game. Sorry?
Start with Tua. Go ahead.
Dude, Tua started off great, and then it was not great. Tyreek had a rough game.
It wasn't great. It was Tua started off well, and then
dude, he should have had 2 touchdown drives in the first at the start of the game. What else do you want?
Second highest rushing total of the season.
Correct. In the Chargers game.
2, 3, 4. So it's 5th time a team has rushed for over 100 yards. Man, are they going to take a beating statistically on the defense? I think they probably should be out of the top 5 now. Not that matters to them or that they care, even though they do. Man, if you don't say or acknowledge the Baltimore Ravens as a front runner to win the Super Bowl, something's wrong with you. Because that team,
I still think that if they have a rematch with the 49ers, it ain't going to be a 5 turnover fest. Although the Ravens are really, really good. And I was not a believer in this game is going to be like an MVP type deciding game unless there was going to be some kind of ridiculous performance. And I think Lamar Jackson pretty much, you can stamp it now because they're the number 1 seed.
You can stamp that thing, bro. A perfect passer rating, 5 touchdowns. That is slaughtering the debate in the final final day of voting. Like,
that's a pretty good mic drop right there.
Yeah. No.
By the way,
second
this
MVP
ain't the first time.
Huh?
Omar, that's not the first time Jackson dropped 5 touchdown passes and a 158.3 against the Dolphins, although circumstances a little bit different in that 2019 season opener.
Yeah, they were trying to lose that one.
They succeeded. This one not so much. By the way, I guess we should point out Buffalo did win. I didn't see the game, obviously, but I was like keeping up with the play-by-play and the stats, and it looked like all sorts of problems. They won 27-21. And now, yes, as you predicted a while ago, AFC's title comes down to next Saturday or Sunday at Hard Rock Stadium. To me, it's going to be a standalone game, so it's going to be Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, or Sunday night. Don't know what.
Saturday. Hold on. Say it again so I can process this in my brain.
Okay. Every game for week 18 is TBD when the initial schedule comes out. They're going to take 3 of those games, one on Saturday afternoon at 4:30, one on Saturday night at 8, and one on Sunday night at 8 as the last game of the entire regular season, and book it that the Dolphins will be one of those standalone games.
Okay. So that means we're going to be playing at night. Yeah?
Probably. I would think so. The AFC South now, I want to say, is a 3-way tie because Indy won, Jacksonville won, Houston won. It's a 3-way tie. They're all 9-7.
Mm-hmm.
There's a head-to-head matchup next week. I want to say I'm going to look it up because I can't. Houston at Indy.
Nobody wants to see that.
It's for a division title. It's getting showcased.
Well, yeah, it's for every game for a division title is getting showcased. Let's address some of these injuries before we get into our questions here.
Yes.
And if you have a question, I encourage you. I get it that you guys want to discuss and debate amongst yourselves and talk crap. Yes, I'm not in a great mood, but I'm not in an argumentative mood. I've agreed with Poupard quite enough in this. But
you're feeling all sorts of discombobulated, aren't you?
No. People are just like, oh, he's just in an argumentative mood. No, I'm disappointed. I didn't think they were going to win, and I said that on QAM and got stoned to death when we were doing the pregame show because I'm Mr. Negative. But I didn't think they were going to win because I thought they had too many key injuries, and the physicality of Baltimore was going to overwhelm Miami's offensive line, and that's not why they lost. They just lost because Ravens were way better and executed way better. And I'd have to put this loss on the defense more than I would the offense, even though the offense didn't take advantage of the opportunities that they had. But it's a team loss. Every phase of the game didn't play well. The coaches didn't play well. Can you lick your wounds and grow from this? Now, the problem that I have is an injury decimated team probably potentially just lost their starting cornerback and you saw what happens when he's not in there. If you don't think, say whatever you want about him, but if you don't think he's part of the reason why you have a top 5 defense and one of the better pass rushing units in the NFL, you're pretty much clueless, because cornerbacks are generally scared of Xavier because they know his history and know his ball skills. Then you get to Bradley Chubb, where, yeah, that didn't look good. If you think that he can come back in 1 week, yeah. Let's hope he's back by October. Let's hope it's nothing super serious. So that did not look good. And then Tua.
Torn ACL is what it did, if we're going to be honest about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not speculating.
It looked like a tear.
Yeah. And then when he's getting carted off the field, and immediately they say he's out with an injury, even though it was in the fourth quarter late in the game, which was obviously going to be out. But McDaniel goes to see him before he's carted off. Yeah.
I believe he suffered an ACL before, so I think he knows the journey, or he knows the pain. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I think he's early in his career, maybe his first or second year, he had a knee issue. And then Tua. Anytime it involves the throwing arm, it involves the shoulder, it involves the thumb, that's never good. So that's a little bit concerning. I know it seemed as if he can go back into the game. It seemed as if, Mike White was, just in there because the game was out of hand. And we'll hear more from Tua in his post-game press conference. But whoa, that's you got to be nervous, especially knowing his history. But shoulder so much better than a hip, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, the fact that he was on the sideline and he looked perfectly fine at the end of the game. That's why I tweeted out that I'm not overly concerned about his injury. Chubb, like I said, it screams to me torn ACL. But and then X, yeah, the fact that he's carted off with the
foot,
the sock off the foot, the shoe off the foot, not ideal. And as you mentioned, yeah, having 2 good cornerbacks makes a huge difference, because here's the thing: is Ramsey can be as great as he is, teams aren't throwing over there. And he made some tackles, and you're wondering, like, see, he got beat for some completions. Yeah, they were plays against zone where they eventually wound up to him. I don't know that he gave completions one-on-one. And I want to address something, because I got killed on this, maybe rightly so. that Duke Riley had a really, really tough day. But again, let's be honest. Do we really think
Jerome would have had a tough day too.
Correct? That's where I was
Duke
going.
had a tough day though.
Duke had a really, really tough day.
Jerome would have had a tough day too.
Yeah, but any of those who want to stick it in my face, because I said that Duke was 90% of Jerome.
This is the nature. This is the nature of social media, Poupard.
No, I understand, Ben, and I said what I said, and I don't back off of it. He had a really, really rough game.
Yeah. What did I get killed for during the game? Where I think I said it the half point.
Oh, Tua. No, I think somebody called you out for saying Tua had it.
Oh, I did say Tua has it, and I not said we haven't seen it yet, but I do believe that it's there. And then people were like, "Oh, you're a turncoat," because I believe that one day it would be nice if it happened in year 4, might happen in year 5. We will see it, and we will see him ascend to greatness. It just hasn't happened yet. Greatness is what Lamar Jackson just did. Tua has not done that yet. He has not. Yeah, you could say the Ravens game last year, but I mean, we're talking about a game.
That was week 2 also.
Yeah, we're talking about a game with high stakes, with everything on the line. And Lamar Jackson delivered a perfect passer rating. Perfect.
By the way, for anybody out there, and you know who you are, can we please drop, if it hadn't been dropped already, can we drop the Lamar's not a good pocket passer BS?
Did he run today? I can't.
Not very much. He did have like
35 yards on 6 carries, so he did, but not really. But what was the tweet? I would have thought it would have been all in my timeline.
Maybe people are taking it easy on you.
Yeah, I'm getting off easy here. I know the GIF that I used, which is a Tupac like exhaustion. My goodness gracious. Okay, there it is. Okay. Nope. Yes, I said Tua is shrinking on the biggest stage again.
Oh, what a bad take.
He's not ready yet.
Huh? No, what a bad take. Somebody just put Tua year 4, Lamar year 5 or year 6. Seriously? Really? Oof, that's a bad take. Oof.
People are you know what I don't like about Dolphin fans, and I get that this is the nature of sports nowadays, especially with social media. I get that you're upset and you're frustrated and you're disappointed. But everybody sucks. Everybody needs to be fired. Everybody needs to be released. This team isn't going anywhere. Here we go again, and that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. You got punched in the mouth by Debo. He took your bike, came over the house and took your bike, and you just gave it to him. It was embarrassing, but it's not the end of the world, and it's not the end of the season.
The Debo reference to me would suggest that they got overpowered, or for lack of a better word, bullied. Were they really that, or were they just severely out?
As Smokey would say, you just got knocked out. Smokey's another character.
Yeah, but I don't know. Again, I don't know that they got overpowered. And the offensive line, to me, did more than well enough for the Dolphins to win. That wasn't – sorry?
3 sacks for Tua. Tua is under constant pressure. And I get it. They had such a lead.
That's BS. That's BS. Sorry. With all due respect, that's BS. And I know there was at least one of those sacks that was a coverage sack. So, no, he was not under pressure the entire game. Sorry. I disagree. I will respectfully disagree with you, my friend.
I'm going to say I'll need to watch it again. Maybe I'll retract my statement tomorrow. But
okay. Anything else before we start attacking these questions?
I would like to say a couple of things. Lamar, dynamic, showed that he's a pocket quarterback, showed that he's the MVP of the league. Harbaugh, phenomenal coach, top 5 in the game. Zay Flowers, woo, that kid is special. And he did that injured, 3 for 106 with 1 touchdown. And last thing I would like to say is that their linebackers, their inside linebackers, Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, those dudes are studs. Those dudes are impact difference makers. And the Dolphins need a linebacker like that. That is all I have to say.
Which is why you recall my man crush on Roquan Smith.
Yeah. I didn't say you were wrong. I just said people will pick a pass rusher over. If you're gonna pay somebody the same amount of money, people will pick a pass rusher over inside linebacker.
Yeah, and
they both came from the same team, right? Yeah.
No, Denver and Chicago.
Oh, damn, yeah.
No, and the thing about Roquan Smith, and I tweeted this out during the game, is the Dolphins had him completely bamboozled in the first two drives where they had two guys running in his area and he was always leaning the wrong way, or Tua was always like making the right choice and throwing away from him. And he was always like a step off the mark. And then he figured it out. And that's what Baltimore did, some adjustments defensively. And that, let's not pretend like the Ravens weren't dealing with injuries either. They were missing a starting guard. They were missing two starting DBs.
But they had a ton of injuries during the game.
Correct. And this is where they had one play where two guys knocked each other out, including their 485-pound nose tackle, Michael Pierce. Okay, I joke, he's 380. What's Michael Pierce, 385 or something? Dude is big. And then they were missing their starting offensive guard, Zeitler. They were missing Kyle Hamilton, who is either their best or their second best defensive player behind Roquan Smith. So there were injuries on both sides. And then when the Dolphins play against Buffalo next week, injuries on both sides, although Buffalo did get Daquan Jones back, which will make a difference. Where you get time to say. I was hoping I would not have to hear the term daddy at once in the show. You couldn't help yourself but to bring it up. Could you? There we go. By the way, his numbers, I believe, were absolutely atrocious today. His passing.
Who, really? Who? Josh Allen?
The Dolphins' daddy, yes. The one you keep referring to that.
Time to visit daddy. Daddy for the holidays.
Let's see. Josh Allen's numbers today were 15 for 30, $169, no touchdowns, one pick.
Listen, this is with Josh Allen. Think about it. Didn't I tell you at the beginning of the season, probably even after the Buffalo loss, I was like, or no, it was when the Buffalo Bills started to take on water and people thought they were dead. I'm like, nope, they'll be here. They'll be around. And you're going to have to go, you're going to have to do whatever you want. You're going to have to go through your daddy, and you're going to have to earn it.
Go ahead.
And this is truthfully, checking out. This is truthfully what you want. What you want. You want to be the team that you want to be. Going to have to go through Buffalo. It's destiny. And if you can't make it through Buffalo, then you got more work to do.
Oh, I know, without question. And this is where it's actually that Buffalo got themselves at 10-6, and they look very average in their last two games. They barely beat two really mediocre teams in the Chargers and the Patriots, but W is a W. Okay, should we attack some
worst 5-11-5 team ever? Okay, that's right. Typical Dolphin fan. That's what I'm gonna do that all day.
Would you rather be a great 6-10 team?
7-9. That's what the Dolphins have been the last 2 decades. Listen.
Tough to please, right? But
lick your wounds. Live to fight another day. You got a big battle upcoming. Do you for the AFC Championship game? Do you want to stay and sulk, or do you want to lick your wounds, heal up, and put yourself in position to give yourself a chance to win your first AFC East championship since 2008? Suck it up, people.
Okay, suck it up, buttercup. And Meek Fit Inspires. Always look forward to the show. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Momentum change after the Tyreek TD drop. I disagree with you, my friend. To me,
I kept hearing that on Twitter, and I just don't. I don't buy that. Don't.
Zay Flowers, 75-yard touchdown. Dolphins had just kicked a field goal to make it 14-13, and boom, like that one play.
The tight end Likely's touchdown at the end of the first half. Like, I mean, hell, the special teams play coming out of half. You were still in the game. You put them right in field goal territory. It's I don't think the drop was. I don't even think that's a top 10 play of the game. Impactful.
Correct. They lost by, again, my math is off, 37 points. And this happened at a time, and they wound up making it as close as 14-13 after that happened. So, yeah, no, I'm with you. Oh, I'm not trying to David Henao. Sorry.
But why did it have to be this bad of a beatdown? Embarrassing. Because the Ravens are letting you know they're nothing to play with. Statement game. Peaking at the right time. They didn't even take their foot off the gas.
Did you see their record against like teams with winning records or teams that are headed for the playoffs and what they've done to them? I mean, they spanked Seattle, they spanked Detroit, they spanked the 49ers. Now they spanked the Dolphins. They handled Jacksonville. They beat the Rams. I mean, they outlasted them in overtime, but they've beaten a lot of
both
good teams.
You and I knew they'd be here at the end of the year. Like the Ravens were a good team when nobody was talking about them.
They're usually always there.
Yeah. So really find a way. I'm curious about the Steelers. Are they winning?
7-7. I got my trusty red zone in front of me here. 7-7. They're in scoring range. Bobby, thank you. Totally embarrassed. No heart on this team. Poor halftime adjustment by Fangio Cole, who continues to be a liability. I will massively disagree with you with the no heart on this team.
Yeah, I disagree with you. Total embarrassment. Absolutely correct. No heart on this team. Don't agree with that. Poor halftime adjustments by Fangio. I didn't think the game plan was very good, but then it is Lamar Jackson. It's kind of hard to create a game plan for him. And Kohu continues to be a liability. It is what it is. Like what are you gonna do? You gonna play Cam Smith? Is that what you're gonna do? You know, Big Fangio isn't doing it.
Well, there's no trust. Oh, and by the way, I want to point this out because I actually said this to a friend of mine who's a big Dolphin fan, who was kind of suggesting, okay, this is the week Chase Claypool gets in there because McDaniel said so.
He did.
Yeah. How many catches did he have?
Zero.
How many targets? He had one. That the one in the end zone. That's it. Guys, this is where when Omar and I have a little argument about what's happened in the past. The past is a great predictor of the present and the future. Claypool has not been used. There's a reason he hasn't been used. And at this point, we're like, why did the Dolphins even bother signing him or trading for him, I should say?
Still a valuable piece.
How is he valuable?
How is he valuable? Because he gives you good blocking. He can serve as an H-back. And maybe one day he'll be a red zone target. Day's not over.
Which reminds me, dude, not that it mattered, but the Dolphins really have to throw a fade on the 2-point conversion attempt. Jesus, get rid of that play.
It works so well in practice.
Yeah, okay. By the way, this ought to be a fun Hard Knocks episode. Realtor Dan, thank you. Can we call it? Got out coach and Vic Fangio is overrated and a main reason for the losses. How dare you insult Vic? Oh, sorry.
They did some phenomenal work earlier in the season. This was an embarrassing performance, but anybody who puts up, when Miami put up 70 points on Denver, we thought the defensive coordinator would be fired. Sometimes you get embarrassed, and it's not about what happens to you. It's about how you respond. And honestly, I'm sorry, but I think you're looking at a totally different defense without Xavier Howard. You just are. And it's kind of
you shouldn't make that kind of a difference. Come on.
Name me the cornerback that you trust.
I understand that.
You didn't answer the question.
That I trust. There's nobody who performed to that level because I
didn't say anybody performed to that level. Name me the cornerback that you trust.
Okay. Eli Apple usually is fine. He's not a great
fine. I didn't ask you if he was fine. Name me the cornerback outside of Jalen Ramsey that you trust.
But how many teams have three cornerbacks that they?
I didn't ask you for how many teams have three cornerbacks.
But I am telling you,
asked you to name me the cornerback that you trust. If you say nobody, that is your answer, correct?
No, because those cornerbacks are competent enough to where They shouldn't get smoked away. And again, it wasn't. That was the only busted coverage. There was only one busted coverage.
Are they competent enough that they shouldn't get smoked the way that they did? Are you sure?
Yes. And again, as you pointed out, some of it is hat tip to Lamar Jackson. Some of it is they ran good route concepts. They also ran a lot of rub routes where they were blocking out Duke Riley, which is a pick, but it's not a pick if they don't call it, which they did against the Ravens once, which they did against the Dolphins once.
Great game plan. Great game plan.
Yeah, correct. But it wasn't all, God, the Dolphin cornerback sucked. I don't think it was like that.
I didn't say they sucked. I said, name me the cornerback that you trust to be out there on the field and handle their job. See, Xavier, if he was on the field, I'm pretty sure you would say you trust him to get the job done. You already know Jalen's going to get the job done.
But it's not like, dude, you're making it sound like he hasn't given big plays.
I didn't say he hasn't given big plays. Okay. Do you trust him to handle the adversity, rebound, respond, compete?
And Eli Apple had a pass breakup after he gave up the long touchdown. I mean,
come on, Eli, you go. No, I won't.
And I'm not. And I don't necessarily think he's a great player. And I even suggested he could be. How I phrase it? Did I say easily cuttable? But he could be expendable if they needed the roster space. But that's, again, I'm sorry, the defense should not go from top 5
to bottom dweller in one.
Bottom dweller just because because X is out of the game. Come on, I'm sorry, especially since X is not the X that we've seen the past couple of years, and he got beat nasty in a double move. I don't know if that was. I think that was a play on which he was injured.
Yeah, I think he only played like 2 snaps.
Well, I mean that's and that was a bad. I mean the dude went for a slant and faked it and went out and bye-bye. Okay.
Can we call Vic Fangio overrated? No.
Oh, no, they had a crappy game. It happens.
Yeah.
Mike or Vic to blame for Chubb? It's a good question. I don't know who would control.
Come on, Vic makes all decisions on defense. Come on, stop.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike will take responsibility, but Vic does everything on defense.
I didn't mind the blowout towards the end, Brian. Thank you. The Chubb injury was like taking a bullet to the chest. Too much pain for this fan base. And no, it was a painful game in a lot of different ways. Started off well though.
Oh. This is excellent. Don Shula 73 says, Omar, on several podcasts this week, you stood firm on the Dolphins being a physical team. Are we sticking with that? Buffalo will likely maul us as well. I didn't see anything that showed that they weren't a physical team. They just got out executed. They ran for 160 something yards, and a good portion of it being in the first half. 54 yards, 5.8 yards. No, that's not. I don't know what their average is.
I mean, but beyond that, just watch the game. If you watch the game, it wasn't like Baltimore was quote unquote imposing their will, which an expression I hate, but it wasn't like they were doing that. They won a lot more because of Lamar Jackson passing than anything else.
Talk about a statement game. Goodness gracious. And I'm just looking at 56-19. Lamar was 18 of 21 for 325 yards, 5 touchdowns. Yeah, perfect passer rating.
He wasn't bad.
Talk about an MVP campaign. That's like giving a standing ovation speech, a walk-off standing ovation speech at the final debate. It's like
mic drop
moment. Well, go ahead.
Thank you. Jesus, what? Oh, Debbie Downer over here. Squatch, after we get bounced in the first round, will you guys start covering draft prospects? Wah, wah. Man.
I don't know what we'll do, but we'll do whatever you ask us to do.
And we also got number 1, we got 4 months before the draft starts. And number 2, are we really giving up on the idea of the Dolphins winning a playoff game, really, just because they got smoked by Baltimore, which is clearly the best team in the conference?
That's a Dolphin fan for you.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's harsh, Toby.
That's harsh.
Thanks for the contribution, but man, that is harsh.
McDaniel's a genius from Monday to Saturday, moron on game day. Was he a moron previously when he got you to 11 wins?
Excellent point.
You know who he is. He's aggressive. He's going to make aggressive decisions and aggressive calls. he's going to go for it when he shouldn't. And then when he converts it, like he did twice in this game, you won't say anything. But then when he fails to convert it, you'll be screaming from the top of the mountain. This is like whenever he goes for it on fourth down, I know no matter what yardage it is, I know this is who he is as a coach. So I just accept it. You either want your coach to be, people are who they are in their DNA. And I think it comes out in their work. I'm stubborn as an ox. I'm a Taurus. Comes out in my work. That's who I am in my DNA. I'm also compassionate and loving, Poupard. So
I'm hard-headed too. I'm a Aries, so butt heads. No, I didn't like it. In fact, I didn't play the results because I tweeted it after the fact. He went forward on 4th and 5 from the Baltimore 45 when they were down 14-10.
Yeah.
I thought that was a horrible decision.
Which would have put them in scoring territory if he had not converted it. I thought it was a terrible decision too, but also I know that is Miami's head coach.
Correct.
So I'm like, and as long as you stay who you are and stay consistent, I don't have a problem with it.
No, correct. And here's an important point I want to make about that is, and this, I'm not comparing the two in the least because Miami clearly got the better head coach, but Brandon Staley, as a point of comparison, his first year as head coach, he was crazy nuts going for it on fourth down all the time. There were some that backfired, took a lot of backlash. And then the second year and the third year, all of a sudden he backed off and he stopped doing that. And the results were the results, and he wound up getting fired. McDaniel is being consistent, and it doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. Max from Montreal, thank you very much. Go ahead, Omar.
The defense wasn't able to stop anything with the Ravens' depleted secondary. Should it be a warning for Greer to prepare for plan B for Tua? Man, there is no plan B, homie. This is what we're doing. Like, we're full steam ahead. And I doubt anybody in the organization will put anything from this game on Tua. And I've been ultra critical of him in losses. Hard for me to put this one on him. Yeah.
What happened to this, Omar?
He's supposed to elevate the tide. Yes. And that did not happen. And
what I've said, and I'm sure this is going to go over well, that what I have said is until proven otherwise, Tua is a guy, when everybody's doing their job and everything's functioning properly, I mean, he will get people the ball. If there are guys open to be had, I mean, he will make things happen and he will deliver the ball. When things around him
are not ideal,
this is where I haven't seen this. And this is why
things weren't ideal in Dallas, and he didn't necessarily elevate them, but he didn't sink them because of it.
Correct. He executed the game-winning drive to perfection, even though, as I said last week, and kill me all you want, there wasn't a whole lot of lifting. I mean, they were all like very spaced out plays where there were completions into wide open areas. And then, by the way, and Dallas did the same thing against Detroit last night, giving up what should have been a game-winning drive, and then they had the snafu with the player reporting or not reporting or not hearing or hearing.
Yeah, I didn't catch the game, but that seems a little weird. That if Detroit lost that game because of that would be.
No, but they did lose that game because of the penalty. But then the official in the pool report was saying that number 70 reported as eligible, not 68, who was the guy who caught the pass. And then you watch the replay from overhead. You got two offensive linemen who are walking and talking to the official, who's not looking at them at all. His face is looking strictly at 70, who's running onto the field. So it's possible that he's not even listening to what they're saying because he's so focused on the other guy and didn't catch who the actual eligible. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm saying that's a possibility. But that's Detroit. Let's focus on the Dolphins here. LFP, let's face it, Miami has no chance this year. Injuries have completely destroyed the season, and Mike McDaniel really messed up. Should have pulled the starters. He has been outcoached in all the big games.
I don't know about that.
I don't agree with that either.
I think he's been out executed in all the big games. I think that he's been a lot of injuries have factored into some of these big games. You go to Buffalo, and I'm bringing up Buffalo because you're about to play Buffalo. You go to Buffalo. I believe you lose Connor Williams in that game, or did Connor Williams just not start that game? I cannot remember which one.
No, he didn't play. He got hurt against Denver the week before.
Okay, so that was the first start for Liam Eichenberg at center, and he was overmatched. And then you lost Teron Armstead, who obviously is a pillar of granite for you and your offensive line. So, circumstances do factor in, but ultimately, did I expect better execution from everybody involved? Yes, it just didn't happen. I expected better execution from the defense, and if I'm going to be honest, I put most of this blame on this loss on the defense as opposed to the offense, even though everybody could have played better.
Great. Completely agree.
Look at that. We don't fight about everything.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
See what I did there? Yes, we do. Come on.
Who's going to replace Chubb and Eggs? Cameron Good and Cam Smith. All these injuries on both sides of the ball are discouraging. What's next? Greg, listen, brother. I'm going to talk to you like Tua talks to us. Listen, brother. Next man up. Guys got to step up. Guys got to show up. Cam Smith practices against Tyreek Hill and Tua Tagovailoa every single day. If that doesn't get you ready to play in the NFL, nothing will. So you could say whatever you want about Eli Apple and how valuable he is. I think it's time for Cam Smith to get the, I said it. Yeah, I said it.
In week 18, you're going to throw him into the fire in week 18.
Yep. Oh, can it get worse?
With that.
Answer the question. Can it get worse?
Again, you're fixating on one coverage breakdown. And you began this podcast by doing nothing. Hold on. You began this podcast by doing nothing but this. This was all about Baltimore executing. Would Cam Smith have made much of a difference over Eli Apple?
Like his
chance. Are we going to pin this loss on Eli Apple?
Am I going to pin this loss on Eli? No, I'm going to pin this loss on Eli Apple and Kader Kohu and Deshaun Elliott and Brandon and Javon Holland. And Duke Riley. Yeah.
How about the pass rush that didn't get to Lamar?
It's Lamar.
Didn't see him dance out of pressure a whole lot.
I agree, but can I be super aggressive against Lamar?
No.
And or do I need to keep? Right. Yeah. You go ahead and be super aggressive.
No.
See how that works for you.
By the way, one potential replacement for Chubb. Somebody was inactive today, and Lamar, I'm sure that hurts you to the core. And by the way, that was preceded. I don't know if you saw his tweet earlier on.
Yeah, addressed it on radio.
Yeah,
addressed it on radio. Yeah, it's wow. Yeah, I mean, and I, he's been frustrated all season. So
I know.
But as a Dolphin fan tweeted me in my efforts to console him on Twitter or tell him to keep his head up, he wiped his face. It was a GIF of him wiping his face with money. Wipe your tears with the $15 million, Emmanuel. And I know this is not what it's about, but that check clears every Tuesday.
And my best guess is he was made inactive because he's not particularly good against the run. What?
Of course, that's what the tweet was about. It was told him that he's not going to play.
Oh, no, correct. It was about him being a healthy scratch. But I'm saying then the reason he was a healthy scratch is he's not particularly impressive against the run. But now they may not have a choice. If Chubb's out, as we suspect he will be,
they certainly will not have a choice.
No.
So, it'll be interesting to see what happens moving forward. Just donated to Omar and Allen for being a realist. Love the Finns, but the fan base can be annoying. Yeah, I got to admit it. The fan base can be annoying, and I'm sorry if that hurts everybody's feeling, but the sky is always falling after every Dolphins loss. Literally, trash, trade everybody. Everybody sucks. You played that game without two of your top offensive weapons and with an injury-depleted offensive line against the best defense in the NFL and a physical team. The physical teams, and I've listed them to you before, those are the teams that I say, yeah, you're not going to get this. That's if they are in a certain category of physicality, I'm thinking to myself, and don't you dare say, doesn't that mean that you're a finesse team? No, it doesn't mean that you're a finesse team. What it means is you haven't had the mentality to match the toughness of the Debos of the NFL. I'm sorry, it does.
And here, Omar, what have you said about injuries? Nobody wants to hear it.
Everybody has them.
Baltimore has them also.
Yes.
Don't like that Baltimore's missing. By the way, Lamar Jackson's favorite receiver is not Zay Flowers. Not even close. It's Mark Andrews.
Yes.
Who hasn't had in a month and a half. They also lost not only they lost a top running back for the season, and then their second guy, who's their speed guy on offense. They were missing their speed guy in the backfield, who is Keaton Mitchell, a rookie who's got a little bit of Devon Achane in him. He wasn't out there. So injuries, sorry, and they were not out physicaled by the Ravens again, as we said. They were out executed.
Okay, so that shows that, hey, I'm just saying that the type of team, the type of opponent, the style, the demand, you know what a Harbaugh team is going to do. And do you handle that well, mentally, physically, emotionally? And they got punched in the mouth and they didn't want to fight. I mean, no.
That had nothing to do with the 75-yard touchdown pass. Had nothing to do with the 33-yard pass to Beckham. Didn't have anything to do with the 35-yard pass to Isaiah Likely.
Let me finish Greg's question. X, Cameron Good. What's up? I don't know who's going to replace these guys, but clearly I think it's going to be Melvin Ingram, to be honest with you, in terms of Bradley Chubb.
Yeah. Oh.
Colin, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate everybody who's been with me since the mob days. I even go further back at UM with the Legion days. It's I appreciate everybody who continues to rock with me for all these years. I'm tremendously thankful for you guys. You guys are like family to me, and truly that I truly do mean that. You guys have been through a lot with me. You've seen me go through a lot. You're watching me go through a lot right now. And I know that you guys are going to stay with me. So I appreciate that.
And Colin, if you're not following me yet, get on it.
I'm sure Colin is following.
I take that personally.
Yeah. 50 plus points, 500 plus yards. It wasn't 500 yards. I thought it would have been, but it's not.
Or what? Total offense?
Yeah.
Was it
491? 491.
Okay.
Hey, it wasn't 500. It wasn't 500 burger.
Can we talk about Kansas defense being fraudulent? They're trash against anyone better than Mac Jones.
It's one game. It's one game.
Were they trash against Patrick Mahomes?
It's one game.
Were they trash against Dak Prescott?
Dude, it's one game. Like, let's not do that knee-jerk reaction stuff. Why does Tua look so bad when he's out the pocket? One, he's hurt this week, and he scrambled and he gained respect. Stop it. Was he not hurt? Yes or no?
It's going to be your answer to why does Tua look so bad when he's out of the pocket. How about that's not his game? Tua's a pocket passer.
No, that is his game. Tua can be a rollout quarterback. He can be a play-action quarterback. I think Tua is excellent as a play-action quarterback. So don't do that. Don't do that.
What does rolling out of the pocket have to do with being a play-action quarterback?
He can make quarterback roll out of the pocket quite often.
He has made plays out of the pocket. That's not necessarily his forte.
It is not his forte. He's a read the field and diagnose what's going on and putting my ball in specific pockets.
Nobody wants to hear about your ball, Omar. Sorry. Whoops.
You're lucky I'm in a great mood. I'm going out tonight. I'm going to have a great time on New Year's Eve. I'm sure you're staying home. I forgot your solo dolo.
What?
You're solo dolo. So you're chilling. Your family's.
No, I'm not solo dolo. The fam came back from seeing the mouse. My mother-in-law's coming over. It's just a little family thing.
Okay, you gonna pop some bubbly? You let the kids drink a little bit of apple cider?
I don't think they'd want to. If they want to, that's fine. I don't know if we
Oh, you're Canadian. You let kids drink underage. Yeah, it's a Canadian thing, right?
I don't even think they want to actually. Max, again, thank you very much. $5 for the face poop made when Omar said, "Oh, Roquan Smith is a stud."
I didn't say that he wasn't a stud. All I said in my defense was that, just like you always do to me, who would you pick, Tua or Herbert? How many GMs would pick Tua or Herbert? I'm going to say to you, how many GMs would pick the pass rusher over the inside linebacker if they're paying a guy $100 million?
I'm not sure it's that clear cut because, again, we're not talking about just a inside. I mean, that guy is difference making. So I think if you have the choice with big contracts involved for Roquan Smith or Bradley Chubb, who's a very good player. I'm not sure it's.
I think 25 GMs would put it on Chubb, and the rest would put it on Roquan, and they give it position value. It's the same reason why inside linebackers don't get drafted high. Like, Bradley Chubb was like the 4th pick in the draft, even though he had an okay career. 5th pick in the draft, even though he had
he had a great career in college. I don't know what you're talking about. I have to do this again. Yeah, I have to do this again.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. No.
He was a difference maker with the Bears. He's a difference maker with him.
No, I didn't say Roquan Smith had an average career in college. I said
Bradley Chubb. Not correct. How's this for average? Junior year at NC State, 10 sacks, 21 tackles for loss. Senior year, 10 sacks, 23 tackles for loss.
Oh, gee. And how many sacks did he finish with in his career?
What, at NC State?
Yeah.
25 in 3 years. He barely played as a freshman.
Okay. All right. It was okay.
Whoa. Nick, thank you very much.
Yes, I was going to say, Nick, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it, my friend. I definitely thank you for your support and continued support. How many more times do we need to see Tua come up so small in big games to know that we can't win one? This game was bigger than Dallas. Omar, hope you are still wearing those Yeezy Wave Runners. I don't wear Yeezy Wave Runners. What are Wave Runners? Hold on, wait a second. Let me continue. Filibuster for me.
Did you answer the first question?
Oh, damn, I do wear Yeezy Wave Runners. I didn't know they were called Yeezy Wave Runners. Wow. Well, I'm the only one who has to answer this question?
Yeah. You're the Tua beat writer.
I would go 6 years waiting for him to show me it.
I'm sorry there for a second. I thought you said 6 years. Jesus.
And he's already shown he's the upper echelon quarterback. What are you going to do? Throw him back because he doesn't have it?
Not going to throw him back, but I'm still not. If it were me, I still wouldn't be.
Okay. I'm not climbing that tree with you right now in this particular day. I'm not going to climb that tree. I'm going to tell you that they're going to do it, and they're going to do it, but I won't climb that tree.
Okay.
What I will say is, okay, in 6 years, that's his 5th year contract, and that's his franchise tag. Under your mindset of doing things.
Correct, but at some point,
yeah,
it needs to be seen. And here's the thing.
Have we seen it from Dak Prescott?
Sorry?
Have we seen it from Dak Prescott?
Yeah.
No. When's Dak?
No, I'm sorry. He wasn't impressive in the touchdown drive last week against the Dolphins.
Yeah. And Tua wasn't impressive in his touchdown drive?
There was a hell of a lot more heavy lifting. There was a hell of a lot more heavy lifting from Prescott when he had 2 guys draped over him and then still make completions, as opposed to a swing pass to Alec Ingold when he's got nobody 5 yards around him.
Okay, touche. Listen, Dak will be the highest paid player in the NFL next season, and then Tua will leapfrog him. Remember when I said that?
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
No, thanks again. Was not expecting the Baltimore offensive line to neutralize our defensive front all game. Also, if game plan was to let receivers run right by us until they got tired, it didn't work. Well, it did work. They did run by them. I know it worked for Baltimore. No, I didn't. Yeah, I'm surprised too. I thought Wilkins and Sealer, who have been two major factors the entire season, were kind of quiet. I gave a hat tips to Sealer because, again, he had two significant plays with the sack and the forced fumble. But for the most part, yeah, those two guys were neutralized.
Wow, this is Eddie. That's cold-blooded, brother. I didn't tell you it wasn't accurate, but it's cold-blooded, brother. Man, it does work so well in practice. It does not work in the games. Man, that fade is
tired of it. Chiefs down 17-7, by the way, at home against the Bengals. I mean, they are just bleeding. King Henny, thank you very much. How many more times do we need to see Tua come up? Oh, that's the same one we did.
Yeah, you're gonna bring it up.
No. That was an honest.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, sure.
Andres, thank you very much. Thank you guys for your work. Glass half full. Baker, Hunt, Waddle, and Mostert back next week with healthy Tua. Can we beat our daddy and get a 2 seed? Things won't be so bad then. Happy New Year. Don't count on Waddle.
Mostert's a maybe.
Mostert's a maybe.
Hunt's a maybe. Baker's
maybe.
also a maybe, even though he's been working his rehab assignment.
This is a game I expect a bounce back game from the defense. And remember the last time it happened where they had that collapse against Tennessee, they came back, and I understand Buffalo's a lot better than the Jets, but the Dolphins came back with a dominating performance against the Jets after the collapse against Tennessee. I would expect a bounce back game from the defense. The Bills' offensive line is not great, certainly not as good as Baltimore's, and I think that's going to end up ideally making the difference for the Dolphins. Yes, no, maybe. Okay. Juan, thank you very much. Did we abandon the run too early? Also, Duke Riley had trouble, in my opinion. Yeah, did it? Yeah, yes, he did. Did we abandon the run too early? Omar, you want to rejoin us, or?
Sorry, I'm having a conversation. I apologize.
No, I figured that. Can you rejoin us over here? Go ahead.
Oh, man.
Dolphins abandoned the run too early.
No. I think even in the third quarter, they were still doing play action stuff. No.
Tim, thanks very much. Do we revisit soon now that with Chubb out again, hired gun? Well, they play different positions. I mean,
they play different positions, but I've seen them at time have Wilkins out there as an edge player.
When?
In games, he's been on the edge, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes, I think you just need frontline help. Do I think that Sue? I think you probably have a better chance of bringing Jason Pierre-Paul if you need a pass rusher, because he's been here, he knows the stuff. But it is what it is at this point in the season. You got one more game to play.
Yeah, and if the Dolphins let go Jason Pierre-Paul very quickly, and they haven't brought him back on the practice squad, I wouldn't necessarily expect that. Could be wrong, but I wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, I don't know did anybody pick up Jason Pierre-Paul?
No.
Okay. Well, then he's at the crib.
There you go. Nick talks Batman. That's funny. What was the point to do the hurry up offense that led to the NT right before the 2-minute warning before the half?
Mike McDaniel being ultra aggressive and want to get another play in. And he is who he is.
Mateo, thank you very much. Wilkins and others do not deserve big contracts. Again, it is overreaction.
Overreaction Sunday evening.
Yeah, like Wilkins hasn't had a big year. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on now. Somebody respectfully disagrees. Bobby, respectfully disagree. Fangio is good against bad teams. Unfortunately, playoffs involve all good teams. Again, did the Dolphins not do a good job defensively against the Chiefs?
Again.
They held them to 14 points, and I understand the Chiefs had their issues offensively, but they weren't that bad at the time when they faced them. And overall, they held Dallas to, 20 points? It's not terrible.
You take starters out of the game. Andy Moe says you take starters out of the game when the game is out of hand Rushing at the end of the first half makes no sense when you need to drain the clock and score. Poop is regrettably correct. Look at that. Somebody agrees with you, Poop.
Are you regretting it because you have to say I'm correct, or you're regretting it because they got Chubb hurt? What?
I don't like to play the results, and I know the results, so Chubb should have been off the field if we're going to do that. Skip my previous super chat. What? Okay, let me go look for this guy's super chat. You continue to go along.
Which one? King Henry. We did King Henry, but look at it again. Leon, I would rather play on the road at KC than try next week to beat Buffalo twice at home. Use next week as a bye week. Rest everyone. McDaniel sucks.
That's crazy talk.
Does McDaniel really suck, Billy?
I wasn't even talking about that. I'm like, well, I'd rather play Buffalo on the road. Are you crazy? Like,
no, rather play KC on the road than
play KC on the road and try to let's not be delusional, Leon. Your argument.
Also not sure. It depends on the permutations. I'm not sure Buffalo would be the 7th seed if the Dolphins wind up beating them.
What would Justin Fields look like in Mike McDaniel's offense? Would his running ability, size, and arm make a difference? So let's see. I want to replace probably the NFL's top 5 rated quarterback with a guy who really hasn't been proven that he can be good and is about to be replaced by an early draft pick. That makes a ton of sense.
And married to the stats, just like it's all about stats. How about let me answer it, and I'm going to get to the same conclusion you are, but in a different way. The offense is built on timing, rhythm for the passing game,
accuracy.
That's Tua's forte. It's not Justin Fields' forte. So it's not with the personnel the Dolphins have around. That's not a good fit.
Great content. Sean says, thank you all. Great content. Everybody, please hit the like button. We appreciate that. Yes, our fan base sucks. That wasn't necessarily up for debate.
Well, dude, it's passionate fans for every team are going to be like that when they
Yeah.
Like
I don't think hold on. Time out. I do pay attention to Heat talk, dialogue, conversation. Heat fans generally don't have this level of meltdown.
You also play 82 games. This is 16. For example, I would be curious to see what an Eagles podcast looks like today after they lost against Arizona at home and might have pissed away the NFC's title in the process. You think that's a fun place over there right now?
Yeah, everybody's getting a flamethrower.
Yeah, pretty much so.
I will actually be on QAM 8 to 10 a.m. tomorrow, handling the flamethrower. So, not to say that we're not flamethrowing everything today. It was embarrassing. It was painful. That was a humbling loss. But you lick your wounds and you live to fight another day. You got a very important game to play. The game that you've always known deep down in your heart, you knew you were gonna have to see your daddy to get where you want to go. And this is gonna be a situation where your daddy gonna try to spank you, and you gotta grab that belt, and you're gonna say, no more spankings from me.
I'm counting the number of daddy references. We're up to 3. Okay. I actually thought it would be a lot worse, to be honest. Let's tackle this Michael question.
I got all next week, brother. I got all next week.
What's the over-under for the week, you think?
I think Buffalo's going to be the favorite by 3.
No. The over-under on the number of times you're going to say daddy in the 7.
20.
Take the over. That's an easy bet. Michael, thank you very much. Should we hold out our best players that are hurt, that need a week off? Mostert, Waddle, Armstead, I'm assuming you mean, et cetera, and essentially forfeit the Buffalo game so we could maybe win a playoff game, even though it's a wild card win? No, and no.
Correct.
Doesn't work like that.
Why does Tua not elevate his game versus top teams? Because his team doesn't elevate their game versus top teams. I said it.
That's what a franchise quarterback's supposed to do.
Yeah, and Tariq and Charles Clay, who are supposed to catch touchdown passes.
Oh, so not to played a good game. Okay.
No. I didn't say two played a good game. I didn't say that. That's not what I said.
He got hurt by two. The Claypool, the dude got his hand in there a little bit. The Tyreek was obviously a clear, nasty, bad, non-MVP like drop. But
Oh wow! Hold on before you do that. Todd O'Shea, 6 years. Omar's putting us back on the Tannehill train. The difference is you never saw any glimpses of specialness with Tannehill. So don't do me like that. Don't.
That's fair.
You've seen glimpses of specialness. You have not seen glimpses of it. Don't do me like that.
No, that's fair.
And Colin says he's been following you for a while too, before you guys linked up for sure.
Thank you, Colin. There you go.
Look at that. Look at that.
I apologize for even questioning that. Thank you very much. Let's go back to Toby, who's not in a good mood. Running a play 1 second before 2-minute warning. Starters playing down 30, going on 4th, 3 minutes left. Not kick through end zone every time. Our special teams suck. That's bad coaching. Well, okay, first of all, totally agree on number one. Didn't like running the play with 1 second left. Starters playing down 30. I completely agree with you there. Also, going on 4th with 3 minutes left. What are you talking about? Of course you go on it on 4th down. At the end of the game, of course you go for it. Not kick through the end zone every time. Yeah, that's a good question. And I'm wondering whether here's the thing is weather forecast was absolutely beautiful in Baltimore. It was like in the low 50s, very little wind. Is it possible that the air was heavy and the ball wasn't traveling? Like, for example, the ball was traveling like crazy last week in Miami. Is it possible that maybe Jason Sanders was trying to reach the end zone and just didn't? Is that possible?
I don't know.
Our special teams suck. That's bad coaching. The special teams have not sucked this year, actually. They sucked last year. But this year.
Do you guys really think, okay, this is Alexander, George, do you guys really think we could survive all these injuries? My answer to that question is no. They did an amazing job lasting this long. Reek missed that TD starter of today's fall. Okay, I don't agree, but I knew that injuries would be a factor in that particular game. Will injuries be a factor in Buffalo? I have no idea because I have to also look at Buffalo's injuries. But yeah, it's tough. And Liam Eichenberg, we got to point out that he got injured, came back and finished the game. Mm-hmm. And hey, props to him for being on that line. Birthday Salami.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Salami, I think. Happy New Year's, gents. What adjustments do you see the offense, defense making against the Bills after the last meeting? Well, you're going to have a lot more protection because Buffalo just harassed you with 4-man rushes. And Buffalo did a lot of dropping into zones, basically forcing Tua to make tough throws. A lot of things have changed since then, but you got to think that that's the game plan that they're going to go into. And if they can consistently harass Tua with 4-man pressures, you're toast. So.
And defensively, how about not covering Stephon Diggs with Kader Kohu?
Oh, wow. I don't think you have a choice right now. Unless you're going to let Xavier Shadow. I'm not Xavier Ramsey.
If they don't, something's wrong. This is a game. I don't care that Fangio, that Vic, my man Vic, my simpatico buddy, doesn't like shadowing. In this game, especially if you don't have X, it would be criminal to let Stephon Diggs go wild.
Oh, my goodness. Stephon Diggs is going to be looking at Kader Kohu like he's a pork chop and he's a dog. Mm-hmm. Even though Stephon isn't having that great of a season. Ultimate move would be, Brian says, ultimate moves would be if Wakezilla came back. Cameron Wake has fallen off the face of the earth.
He done.
Bro. I don't know.
Since 2019 or 2018 or something like that.
I don't know if his agent can find him. And trust me, Cameron Wake isn't going to solve your problems.
Well, prime Cam Wake certainly would help, but again, he's got to be think he was born in 82. Don't ask me why I know that. I think he was born in 82 or something.
O'Shea
Around 40 years old.
Moore says, if you can't beat the top teams, what's different? I mean, a lot of teams can't beat the top teams. Any given Sunday. Any given Sunday. That's why you want home games.
Yeah, Cameron Wake's 41. I was correct. That's pretty,
41?
that's pretty sick. I actually knew without looking it up. He was born in 82. That's sick.
Papa Allen, I am going to use that, Noel B. Papa Allen comes to town next week, and the Cuteness Express is running sluggish. Wow, Cuteness Express. That's 2 references that cut deep.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit queasy. Wow, Noel, that was a classic commentary right there.
It was good, right?
Yeah, it was.
V21, thank you. I'm sorry. Was Tua top 5 before McDaniel? Bring JF1. Wait, who's JF1?
Justin Fields?
Oh, okay. Was Tua top 5 before McDaniel? No, he wasn't. He also didn't have Tyreek Hill around him, or Raheem Mostert, or Devon Achane.
I don't get the obsession with Justin Fields. Hey, do your thing, man. If that's what you want. Listen, there's nobody who Tyreek and McDaniel. I mean, Tyreek, McDaniel, and Tua. They're all married. They're in a relationship that's, what do you call those relationships where it's
what, a threesome? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, they're in a threesome.
They're in that's what?
They're in what's one of those marriages where you can have extra wife?
Polygamy. They're polygamous.
They're in a polygamous relationship. So listen, they're not. You're not.
It's not happening. Justin Fields.
It's not happening. Stop it.
Thank you, Mark Arthur. Or judging by your last name, should I say Marc Arthur Berouet? Merci. I believe this gentleman will be of the French persuasion.
Of the French persuasion.
Jesus, really?
Al, thank you for your contributions, Al. Love the show and the content you provide here on All Dolphins. Still hoping for good results in the playoffs, but how long do you think the window will be open for the Dolphins with the cap challenges pending? They got a 1-year window, in my opinion.
You mean next year?
Yeah, next year.
Yeah, no, correct. Yep, I agree.
Then you're probably gonna have to purge it for 1 year and then rebuild.
Yeah.
The Saints did it. They did a 1-year purge. Then they went and got their quarterback, Derek Carr, and now they're $70 million over the cap again. So it's you got to purge it. The Rams did the same thing. Purged it, got rid of some talent. That's how you ended up with Jalen Ramsey. Then they got healthy again. Dolphins purged a little. Chiefs purged a little when they got rid of Tyreek. You're literally just taking advantage of the teams that are purging, and soon you will be the team that purges.
Let's acknowledge Chris. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, thank you, brother.
Yep. I think
we are out of super chat questions because I think we have done our best. Yep. I'm going to go to the very bottom of the regular chat questions, which have 800 and something.
Hold on, we got another one here. All right. Daniel Shapiro, thank you. If you're the GM, are you giving Tua a top QB deal this offseason? This season is showing Tua needs a lot around him, and a big contract will limit this team.
Everybody needs a lot around them, except for
Daniel. Yeah, Omar and I have discussed this ad nauseum. I say no. Omar says yes.
I say it's going to happen no matter what.
Okay, but the question was, would you?
Yes.
Okay. To me, no until I see something else I need to see. Okay, we got another one from Marcus. Thank you very much. Like Poop would say when it's Tua, yes, but Lamar was throwing to wide open guys. Anyone can do that. Ravens skill players. Let me have that one. Made Lamar's job easy, so this was more about the defense. I'll go backwards. Yes, the defense had a rough game, and it was more about the defense. Absolutely. Skill players made Lamar's job easy. Did they, though? like that. For example, it worked in conjunction. That pass to Odell Beckham wasn't really a dime when Cater Cole had great coverage. Yes, it was a great catch. Was there a lot of places where Lamar could have put that pass? Were there a lot of places where Lamar could have put that pass to Isaiah Likely? Come on. You want to believe that, Marcus? Thank you very much for the contribution. No, I don't. I don't know that he was throwing to wide open guys the entire day.
Cash asks, anyone you have your eyes on in the draft, Omar? I don't think I've seen one complete college football game with the exception of the University of Miami all season. I just don't watch college. I watch it during the bowl season right now. And to be honest with you, I don't want to watch that garbage in the bowls. These bowls with all these pullouts and transfer portals, this thing is trash. It's horrible. But I do have some curiosity for the final two games. I might pay attention to that depending on what I got going on in my life. Tua and Tyreek are not on the same page. Okay, they've only been the best NFL receiver combination in the NFL. But
I'm sorry, that's funny. Carl, thank you first of all. From Utah, I can help you looking for polygamist. I'm sorry, that's funny.
That's the term we were looking for. Yes, it was.
That's funny. Are we keeping it going a little bit longer, or we're going to wrap it up? If we're going to
trying to make sure that everybody gets their love and gets.
All right, YouTube, my battery's about to run off. I'm going to have to run downstairs and get my power cord.
How much juice you got? You 1%? Why does he tend to only play zone defense, not man-to-man, mixing up more blitzes? He does both. He is a zone defensive coordinator, and if you sign up for Vic Fangio, you know exactly what you're going to play. So Vic does what he wants, and he's not going to change what he wants to do.
And Lamar's dangerous to blitz because if you blitz and you don't get him, and you create a gap up front, he's running through it, and you're looking 30 yards on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Not like blitzing a statue like Mike Jones, for example, or others.
Mo Azizi says Finns are not contenders. Get real. I would disagree with that, and I would honestly say that I think that they're still contenders as long as Tua is on the field. Maybe my opinion changes if they've lost Bradley Chubb for the season and lost Xavier Howard for the rest of the season. Those are two big losses because I would argue to you that those are two of your top 10 players. Let's hope that Tua is healthy enough to continue to play and that it doesn't the shoulder injury does not impact his arm and velocity and mechanics and things of that nature. But and obviously somebody's going to have to step up for Xavier Howard. Who it is, I have no idea.
Let's enter this one for Craig quickly. What happened to Chubb? I didn't see the game. At the end of the game, the score, I believe at that time, was 49-19. Bradley Chubb was still in the game. They ran a toss to Melvin Gordon, and he was chasing to the sideline, and then his leg planted and gave, and he immediately went to the ground holding a knee. And as I said earlier, I could swear I heard through watching the CBS feed screaming, and I could swear it was Bradley Chubb screaming in pain. And then he was carted off the field. So doesn't look good. Looks like a, and they immediately declared him out with a knee injury. If it's a torn ACL, I wouldn't be surprised when I iota.
Yes. Yams wants to point out.
Hold on one quick second, Omar, please. Somebody says Chubb is confirmed torn ACL.
Well.
Yep.
Claypool. Okay. All right. You ready to rock? You ready to get out of here?
I'm ready to get out of here. I think we need to wrap this up.
Okay. I appreciate everybody for being here. We thank you for watching and participating and commenting and contributing. Well, I need to take that Yams comment off. How do I do that? Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. It's off. All right. You can find all our work at alldolphins.com. We've got stories up. We've got columns up. We will be here for the season finale where Daddy Allen will see whether or not the Dolphins are playoff ready. We'll give you the updates on all the latest that we know on the injuries. On that note, we are out.
Hold on one quick second, Omar, because somebody pointed out something. Okay. I haven't seen it. ACL injury, Pro Football Talk. Dolphins fear Bradley Chubb tore ACL and knee per source MRI schedule in the morning. That's the same thing with those things. Usually teams know. When it leaks out like that, teams know the MRI will confirm, just like with Jalen Phillips. Team pretty much knew it was an Achilles right after the game. Pretty much knew it was an torn Achilles right after the game. The MRI the next day confirms it. So
Connor Williams too, ACL.
You had reported it right after the game, as a matter of fact. So again, no, it's not confirmed, but that's what it looks like.
Okie dokie. All right, folks.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Be safe. Be smart.
Thank you. Correct. Be safe. Be smart. Be responsible. Enjoy the evening. That goes for you too, Omar.
Thank you. I will make it home safely. I'm not a drinker, so.
Okay. Good. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.